everyone, it's Anna and welcome back to my channel. In case you're wondering, I did change up my hair. It's darker now and I think I'm gonna keep it. I like it. But anyway, in this video, I'm going to be giving you 5 tips on being a righteous wife. Little disclaimer first, this is not me saying that I am just the best wife ever or anything like that. I've been married for 7 months and I'm just trying to figure things out. Like this morning, my husband and I had to have like a 5-minute devotional because we were running late. And then I dropped him off with curlers in my hair and pajamas and like 7 people saw me and I was so embarrassed. I'm just trying my best here. But anyway, with that being said, we can get on with the tips. So the first one I have is to be a righteous wife, you need to be a righteous woman. And you might be kind of like, duh, can you like go on to the next one, please? That's obvious. But it's not, okay? In Proverbs 31 verse 10, it says, who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. That verse basically just tells me like, it is hard to find a virtuous woman. It's hard to be that woman. But I promise if you strive to be godly in your womanhood and being a wife, it will bless your marriage. To go along with this, I have a little visual aid. So marriage is a 3-person commitment, right? You have the man and wife, and they're promising to God to love, take care of each other, and to keep the commandments. And in return, God is promising to bless them. That's a covenant, right? You have a 2-way promise. So here we have the wife, right? She's married to her husband, and they both made a covenant with God. Now, when the wife is drawing closer to God, and the husband is as well, you can see, let's just scribble this in, so they're getting up here, that now they are closer to each other, right? They were here, now they're here. So as you both put in that effort, it will bless your marriage. It'll bring you closer as a couple. Now the second tip I have is to always be on your husband's side. When I was engaged, I decided I wanted to take my husband's last name. I just felt like it was what I wanted to do. And when I did that, it was like me taking off my football jersey with my last name on it and putting on a matching one to his, and now we're a team. To go along with this, in Genesis chapter 2, verse 24, it says, therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. That jersey I'm talking about is that one flesh. It's becoming a partnership, right? So when you, as a wife, like choose to wear that jersey, like it's not convenient for me, I'm taking it off, I'm being my own person, I don't need to work as a team right now. That is only gonna hurt your marriage. What's more beneficial, of course, is when you work as a partnership. Now, that's not me saying he's the coach and he tells you what to do and you be a pushover. Nothing like that. I'm just saying when he says something or suggests something, let's say he's like, you know what, that show you were watching the other day, I don't really think it's appropriate and we should probably stop watching it. You know, don't take the defensive side and be like, you never let me be myself and you run this house and I'm sick of it, that kind of thing. But on the flip side of that, you also don't want to just be like, yeah, okay, when it's like secretly your favorite show. Instead, take his side and be like, you know what, you're right, there were some inappropriate parts last night, let's pray about this together. And that's a way both to compromise, but to be on his side and help one another. The third tip I have for you on working to be a righteous wife is to compliment your husband. And no, I don't mean tell him that he's handsome, although that is important. What I mean is work to complete him. In the Old Testament, we learn that God made man and woman to be joined together and to finish one another. So where your husband is masculine, you be feminine. When he's weak, you be strong. When he just needs someone to talk to, you be that listening ear. That's what I mean when I say compliment him. You know, just put in extra work to kind of complete one another. The fourth tip I have for you is to be grateful. I know that it's hard as a newlywed not to just long for everything and be like, oh, I want that big house and I want that patio and all those clothes and all that stuff. It's really hard, especially in the first couple months when you're figuring things out financially. But that's not going to benefit anyone by just looking at things longingly. Hebrews 13 verse 5 says, let your conversation be without covetousness, and be content with such things as ye have. For He hath said, I will never leave thee nor forsake thee. Basically, what that verse is saying to me, don't complain about all the things you don't have, and instead trust in God to provide you with the things that you need, right? So it can be easy to let the stress get to you and just be like, I don't know how we're gonna pay this bill or this whatever. But you need to just trust God and realize that it will work out. It will be okay. A while ago, I was just complaining about everything you could complain about and just like having a bad attitude. And then my husband, after taking it for so long, was finally like, in a loving way, he finally said, that attitude is kind of unsavory. And that kind of just was like, hit me. And I was like, oh, I'm not being a pleasant person to be around. Like, no one wants to be around someone who is constantly like, I wish I had this and I wish I had this. Instead, they want someone who's grateful for what they have and who, like Hebrews said, trust in the Lord. The fifth tip I have for you is probably my favorite, and I think because it's not really talked about enough. Like, in all the unwanted marriage advice I got, no one mentioned this. And that's to be patient. Something that really helps me on those hard days when I just want to get mad or whatever, I just remember that my husband's been a husband as long as I've been a wife. And that's not very long. We're both working on this. And the mercy that I want to receive from him, I have to give back. So when your husband forgets to do the dishes that you asked him to do, or if he says something insensitive on accident, like, your first resort should not be anger. You need to be patient. Take a step back if you need to. Yeah, so those are my tips. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope that they helped you, and I won't link, they're just scriptures. I'll put in the down bar the scriptures that I mentioned in case you want to look them up or whatever. And thank you so much.